Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex, and once again, this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Sam Keith Day, and we have finally broken the image seal. He's the first one of the artists that I review daily here that we've hit his beginning of his image run. That would basically mean that his is probably one of the shortest stints at Marvel Comics. A lot of the artists that I review basically cut their teeth at Marvel Comics, got popular, created their singular styles, and then moved on, created their own characters for their own company that they formed, which was called Image Comics. And Sam Keith is generally described as the guy who came in that second wave of artists after the founding fathers of Image Comics. So there was him, there was Dale Keown who came in, which, you know, I'm reviewing him as well. So eventually we'll get to his image stuff pit. And who else was there? Maybe Mike Grell on Shaman's Tears would be considered second wave. And Jerry Ordway and Al Gordon, I believe, were the two who did Wild Star. So we're going to focus obviously on Sam Keith and his first series, and only series, I think, at Image. No, possibly there's a bunch more. You're right. I have some in my collection. Scratch that. At least his first series at Image Comics, the MAXX. And right now, why is the lighting so different from my usual videos? This is the glow-in-the-dark cover that the MAXX put out. And as a kid, I was kind of, you know how you are. You want to get these special things. And I was kind of pined for it. And recently found it for super cheap and just so picked it up. And right now you're seeing kind of, I guess, some of the glow-in-the-dark effect. I see a bit here. I think on camera might be a little bit more obvious. Or not so obvious, depending on your point of view. I see it a little bit here in my darkened room. But of course, for the needs of the video, I'm going to now turn the light on. There we go. And of course, enough fun with this guy. We'll just go back to the original cover, which I got to say is pretty cool and striking on its own. When I saw this, again, Sam Keith, very little exposure to him at this point. I've read Darker Image, so I know what he's about. And this Image, again, and this thing with the image artist, kind of changing the faces often. Tom McFarlane would do this, not being 100% consistent with how they depict stuff. I know eventually in this angle, the MAXX will, the jaw will kind of jut out this way more and the teeth will be bigger and stuff. But he's kind of still working the look there, but always kind of odd and strange. The great thing about the MAXX is he was just the weirdest character at Image Comics, at least, even compared to Marvel characters and stuff. So there was just an oddity to him, which was appealing. And the art style I was already into because of those early Marvel Comics Presents comics featuring him that I had already purchased on getting a bit of info from Wizard Magazine on that. And yeah, I was just very excited as a kid to see this. Got to be obvious that, we share the same name. So I always thought it was cool as a kid that this weird superhero, although I don't know if you could even describe it as that, eventually the series kind of gets really weird. But I guess initially he's kind of starting with those concepts of superheroism and turning it on its head a little bit. But I just like the fact that a graphically, visually appealing character, I guess, shared my name. I guess that's what it was. So typical Sam Keith artwork, dirty inks and stuff, all the stuff I love, the big muscles, the big triceps, the lava gloves that he plunged, apparently, according to his origins, into lava, and that's why his fists look like that. And just the odd pose, it's like he's like a chunky, muscular Spider-Man as well. I never made that connection, but I kind of see it now for the first time. Am I wrong there? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I just all of a sudden see him applying just kind of Spider-Man poses to just the most muscular, stubby guy. And of course the odd face, right? So there you go. That's the MAXX on the cover. Let's see what's happening inside the MAXX. So credits real quick. Story, pencils, ink, Sam Keith. Dialogue, Bill Messner-Loebs. Finishes, Jim Sinclair. So I'm imagining some inks and stuff, maybe some special effects because we're at Image Comics now. We can do some crazy stuff with computer coloring, etc. Lettering, Mike Heisler, and color, Steve Olaf, Ruben Rude, and Ollie Optics. So definitely going to be some great coloring in this. Oh, and I guess a logo credit is good. Chance Wolf designed the MAXX logo. Pretty good logo too. All right, so we start with the splash page, and right away we can see Sam Keith. We saw hints of this in the Marvel Comics Presents stuff, but he's just going for the weirdest kind of panel compositions. Is this meant to represent anything particular, this shape, the silhouette? Probably not. It's just interesting shapes kind of put together there. And it, you know, starts off with just this box in an alleyway, which I guess from the dialogue we start to assume, at least in the next few pages, that there's a character in there. It's possibly the MAXX, right? But I mean, an odd way to start a comic. And then we have the superhero trope of the lady getting dropped off, you know, in the wrong neighborhood or being in the wrong place, wrong time, and some you know, dark characters, you know, wanting to do bad, I guess, robbing her, possibly assaulting her. So this penny rolls in near the box, right? And I love, again, he's starting to do, if you really pay attention to these rhythmic layouts, right? The stuff he's doing here, just going hog wild and kind of abstract on some of these pages. Even though this page is, you know, pretty mainstream in its layouts and stuff, you got a hint of it here, right? Kind of leads into the weirdness. And the MAXX will get weird. This is just the first issue. So it gets sucked up in there, into the box. Something bad happens. I like this graphic representation in the phylactère. Word balloons. This thing here to imply that, like, ugh, all of this gooiness and implies, right? Like bloodletting and maybe twisting of guts or something. I don't know. That's kind of what it evokes in my head when I see that. I've always liked this shot, just a simple shot of the fist with the middle finger thing, claw just into the ground there. And then we get kind of our money shot of the MAXX coming out. And, you know, it's that he's already kind of changed the face. This is what I was talking about, as opposed to the cover. You know, he's all in his Bigfoot glory. I've always thought that the shape of the MAXX is pretty much like a frog, or almost, you know. I know he's supposed to be a rabbit or something. To me, it evokes much more a frog, even though, you know, I guess being green would evoke that even more. But there's just an overall thing, especially with the legs. Like, those are frog legs, are they not? But I like the way he does it. That he's always got this bit of Frazetta kind of hatching here, and those super square knees, like the balls to just draw a knee and a contour like that. I loved all that stuff. So different from all the other Image stuff. And here it really felt, after the Marvel comic stuff, which was really good, that he was letting loose a bit more here. The simplicity of this here, there's a bit of, I feel like a tinge of Todd McFarlane to it, but I always thought that was a clever way to get out of a quick drawing problem, or, you know, a quick solution to that, to get through the page quickly. Still doing those interesting, you know, using those circles that we talked about, that he does, excuse me, in Marvel Comics Presents, and even way back in the Aliens Earth War series, which I also reviewed. Check them out. It's in the archive. Clever stat, pretty much, right? Maybe he redrew it, I don't know, but that's a pretty, whether he statted or not, that means make copies of the background. You know, that's quickly drawn deadline stuff, or at least expediency stuff. And he's starting to do all these little designs again to each panel. Like I said, it's nonsensical, but it does make it interesting, as long as it doesn't obscure the art, which I don't feel it does. Here it does overlap, but it adds kind of an extra layer. Basically, it's kind of those, you know, tricks we've been talking about that McFarlane does, or you know, a lot of artists do. And these overlaps all kind of create an extra layer to the artwork, making the depth perception even deeper, the illusion of depth, right? When we're drawing, we're always trying to just create the illusion of depth. It's still a flat piece of paper. Always thought that was a pretty shot. Clouds are little 90s digital, right? But the idea is sound. Other than the clouds, I think everything else is pretty well done. It's almost like painted, even though it's done digitally. It's tasteful, I'd say, for the 90s. Didn't push it too much. MAXX trading cards. I don't think I ever saw those. So now the MAXX, basically, if I have to explain it real quick, if I don't feel like I have to, but I will, lives kind of as a bum in the real world, and then has hallucinations. I guess that's the basic premise, that he's actually some sort of, you know, animal king, or out in the Australian outback somewhere, but, you know, an Australian outback that doesn't really exist. Maybe that exists only in his head. I guess that's kind of how it goes. Some great action shots, right? I love how he does those big chunky contours, how he has the balls to do it. It's always hard to put down a big thick line like that. At least for me. I like the kind of breakdown here, the zoom in. Very well done. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're black. I think they're white in the Outback and then black in the real world, but I don't know. I feel like that changed at some point. We'll see as we go through the series. There's Julie. Told that she dresses like a hooker. Very classy by this guy here. You know what he gets up to at night. So some kind of slightly, you know, I guess pin-up-y kind of poses here. Sam Keith's pretty good. There's a good balance where I feel the bodies are fairly realistic, more so than most of the image guys, and the face just kind of stays cartoony. It's like a cartoonier Frank Frazetta, I guess how I describe it. He's always said he enjoys drawing like you know, ladies' bellies and folds and stuff, so I think he does it well. And it works particularly well in that slightly cartoony style that he's doing. So the police officers have jailed the MAXX. She comes to bail him out. We get some more interesting layouts here where the MAXX kind of drifting in and out of his hallucinations, his dreams. Then we get this scene here with this couple. Look at how, love the interesting layouts. He's really enjoying himself, I feel like. You know, not having to just draw squares and rectangles. He's doing it well though. It's not like gratuitous. I don't feel the storytelling is still good. Feels like an artist who's finally feels fairly free in drawing what he wants, and that's kind of what he's doing. Always thought this page was awesome. This angle, again, I'll keep talking about it, those down angles. If you can do those well, kudos to you. This is a great one, the way the cape folds over anything he's kind of going by, almost like, I guess, muddy water, whatever you want, however you want to describe it, you know. The way it moves is probably similar, but it can climb as well. Kind of Spanish. This shot is like, okay, so the inking here is, it's still cartoony, but like more illustrative, kind of classical, you know, type of hatching and stuff. And then he'll go harsh with these ises just in the middle ground here, and just full on silhouette with that. And I think that creation of those 3 layers right there is just so simple, so effective, and looks really good. All the sense of danger. Did he do that behind? Like, did he stick a panel on top there? I've heard about Sam Keith's pages being like having black tape on them for the black areas sometimes. Apparently they're fairly thick. A lot of stuff on there. A lot of ink. Always thought this was interesting, but man, who'd want to draw that? How many panels is that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 times 8 is 24. It's a lot of panels on one page. I think he's got Watchmen beat. Do feel like the art sometimes, like the finishes there, maybe that's the page that his buddy Sinclair was doing later on. I feel like that becomes a little bit more obvious in the next few issues. And see, not consistent. The face changes up again here, where now it resembles a little bit more what we see on the cover. The coloring got a little weird. I guess he didn't define the lines that usually come down his face here. So yeah, just another odd kind of representation of the MAXX that they're going to tighten up eventually. Some inconsistencies throughout. And these 2 pages are just great balls out Sam Keith art. Pretty sure that's lifted from a photo, maybe light boxed, but why not? Works pretty well here. Not the characters, they're just kind of drawn in. That was like, you know, maybe 20 seconds, a whole minute and a half to draw these guys here at the most. And then, you know, light boxing is probably what took more time. This great, no reference, just crazy balls out textures, beard, you know, all that stuff. I love this. I mean, I will say it, his head is completely a penis. It's a phallus shape, right? Same thing here, come on. And yeah, just this here, kind of standoff. Getting all the cool Sam Keith textures on the feet, on the muscles, everything you want. The arm, hair, body hair. Creepy little creature. And then that's always a nice, cool surprise. Super awesome double page splash. Super close up. And this is what I mean about like just going for it with like, oh, look at that thick line. Like, it's hard to put down a line that thick, but you gotta do it sometimes. You gotta push yourself. I should push myself more to put down those big thick lines because they look awesome. Great textures once again, mixing classical and cartoony. The body hair, there's just the pumpkin shoulder, right? Always a huge tricep. For some reason, all his characters have just insanely huge triceps. And this great, I'm sure somewhat Spawn inspired kind of look, but still done in the Sam Kieth fashion. A little bit of very graffiti-esque, I guess is what I would say with this, what's his name again? I forget. Mr. Gone. Very graffiti-esque, this whole side of it, you know? I mean, I'm sure, yeah, this as well, but that's a little more illustrative. A lot of texture, a lot of hatching and stuff. This feels more like something I could see on the side of some sort of delivery truck that's been painted on by some some spray paint hooligans. And again, in depicting the I'm pretty sure, I feel like most of this has like been filled in with black, and then he comes back with white medium, right? Maybe not the teeth, but definitely the contours and stuff here. It's probably how he gets that done, gets that rough look, and it works 100%, you know, a lot slicker here. Like I said, that graffiti style, a lot more textural here in the front and the foreground, right? We've got our three basic planes, foreground, underground, background, just creates a nice illustration and a nice end to this comic. And funny enough, what a coincidence, because I was reviewing a few days ago the Rob Liefeld New Mutants comic with Wolverine, and that comic also ends on a double page splash. So now I'm wondering, I think I should count the page count for this as well, because now I'm curious. Just noticed that it ends on a double page splash, not very common, and 2 in a week. So there's no ads in these Image comics, that's cool too. 1 2 3 5. Oh, Sam Kieth, you just made a liar out of me. I hadn't even noticed. Okay, I guess there are ads. Let me start over again. 1 3 5 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24. Okay, so a couple more pages than a standard mainstream comic. That's cool. I guess Sam Kieth was selling advertising for more, I guess, because that's probably more expensive when it's within the comic. I remember Image Comics generally not having ads throughout the story, but I guess maybe he does it later. We'll find out as we keep reviewing this comic. That was just issue 1. You can check in the archive because I've already done the MAXX and mini comic number 2, I think it's called. And I've also done Darker Image, which, if you don't know, is a precursor and just came out a few months, maybe even just a month before the actual MAXX #1. Or if I'm not mistaken, it's very possible, back in the day with the way Image distribution was and books being late and stuff, I think, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, and if anyone remembers this, tell me in the comments. The MAXX #1 actually came out before Darker Image and that short story that he had in there, but you know, it doesn't really matter chronologically because the MAXX is already a very strange book just by itself, so all the continuity and stuff, you know, it's pretty easy to figure out, or hard, I guess, depending on your point of view. So that is the MAXX #1, a fairly weird comic that's going to get even weirder. If you have any thoughts, let me know in the comments. Everyone out there who's been watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're on the road to 250 subscribers. I'll put out a special video when we hit that milestone. Tell your friends, anyone out there viewing who have not subscribed, please do so. I'd really appreciate it, and it helps encourage the channel and get us out there to other people who hopefully have the same interest as us. So thank you so much for watching, and everyone out there have an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby Volume 1, issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.